Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Is it okay? Everybody
Yes.
Om Jnane Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chashnamalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manabhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swamrupa Kadamayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapad Kamlam Shri Gurana Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sadhutam Sahagan Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarabhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanitavascha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Takta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Bhaksha Krpa Sindhu Vacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So I should be speaking in English, I believe.
Yes.
That's right. So, we've been meeting for many days. Some faces I recognize now so well, but I don't know if all of you know me or not. So, I'm traveling from Delhi. I'm an author of many books, as many of you know now. And I am I joined ISKCON 25 years back. And I was a businesswoman, I was a fashion designer, but then I joined ISKCON in 1999 and became a devotee. And then my Guru Maharaj ordered me, and after 1 or 2 years only, he said I should be preaching and I should be traveling. He said, you become an international preacher. So in 2007, I started my international preaching services from Australia only. I came to Sydney and Melbourne and to Canberra just for a few hours. But then I was back in Sydney and Melbourne for many years, for the coming years. Every year I was coming and traveling to other places as well. So I was there in Sydney and Melbourne in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I switched over to main services to Canada and other parts of Southeast Asia as well. So I'm coming to Sydney, Australia after 12 years now. Last was 2012, I believe. So that is how my journey has been, and I've been traveling since then. Every year I travel half the globe, so for preaching services. So this time I was invited to Canberra, and it's the first time I'm preaching in Canberra. So I've been here for the last 4 or 5 days now. So that's why I know lots of you here, those who have been attending so many discourses along with me. So I'm very fortunate to be giving services to my spiritual master and to Srila Prabhupada, because this is only the best thing, the best purpose. This is the purpose of human life actually. Even the Glories says this. That's why I'm from a Sikh background and I've written the books with the Vaishnava teachings in Sikhism with a lot of similarities. So given that in my books, so I preach about that. And it says there, Aas lag ji ko chir payo darshan dekhe. So it says here that I offer my life. It's been ages I've seen you, Krishna, so I offer my life, this lifetime to you, to your services. So this keeps on inspiring. If we listen to such quotes, they inspire us to serve, to actually to make our faith strong. That is the reason I have written these books, to build bridges, to actually fill up all the gaps, so that we can have more faith in the Supreme Lord and serve Him better with full faith. That's very important. And today, as we are actually celebrating a lot of It's a very auspicious day today. We have the disappearance day of Krishnadas Kaviraj. We have the disappearance of Raghunath Das Bhatt Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. So these are all very elevated, exalted devotees of the Lord. Those who served Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya was very pleased with them and gave them more and more services. When we get more and more services, that means the Supreme Lord is very pleased with us. When we actually increase our services, that means that Krishna is very pleased with us. That is why He is giving us lots of more and more service. Sometimes people say, oh, I already have this service. Why do you want to give me more service? Then we actually are becoming unfortunate if we don't take up the service. If we are getting the services, we are pleasing the Lord. That is why He is giving us more and more service. We should be very glad when we get more service. And my Guru Maharaj kept on telling me to write articles to 25 years. So it is the mercy of this spiritual father, it's the mercy of Srila Prabhupada that we get service to do. And that's how the three Goswamis even were given a lot of services by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The whole of Vrindavan which we see today, the Govardhan, the Radhakund, all that we see, it's actually the blessing of the Goswamis. That was the blessing, mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that they were sent to Vrindavan to all discover these places where all the pastimes happened. And we are fortunate to have darshan of these places now. So that, why do we go to a place of pilgrimage? We go to the place of pilgrimage to take the association of the devotees. It's not just sightseeing. We just don't go for doing the sightseeing, oh, I have to just visit Radhakund, or I have to just visit Govardhan, or just do the parikram of Govardhan or Vrindavan. Our motive is to take association of the sadhu sangha. For the last so many days we have been stressing on the point of sadhu sangha, the association of devotees. So it's very important to take the association of devotees. We know the story of Sanatana Goswami, how he had Madan Mohan as his deities. And how Madan Mohan and Sanatana Goswami and Rup Goswami, they all stayed under the trees. They never stayed under the one tree even for 2 days. They would keep on changing the trees so that they may not get attached to one tree even, the comfort of a one tree shade. So how elevated they were. They were highly qualified. Sanatana and Rup Goswami were highly qualified. Raghunath Goswami was highly qualified. He was the son of a very big landowner. And yet they were totally surrendered to the Supreme Lord. So even Madan Mohan deities, when they were there under the tree with him, so there's a very beautiful story when Ram Kapoor, a businessman, he was coming on a boat and his boat got stuck in Yamuna. There were very few shops then, and all the goods were actually being transported from other cities, and he was a trader who would come cross on the Yamuna to go to Agra, and then he would give out all that he had, that he was trading in. So when his boat got stuck just in front of the tree where Sanatana Goswami was residing with his deities, and now he wanted to get some help to take that boat out. He went to Sanatana Goswami and he said, help me. And Sanatana Goswami, being so dedicated, a devotee, he said, only who can help you? Only Madan Mohan can help you. And then he promised to Madan Mohan deity that if you help me out, I will definitely offer you the money, offer you everything, a big, beautiful palatial temple for you. And his boat came out. And then he offered. So this is how it is that the Krishna even listens to the exalted devotees. He doesn't listen to our prayers. He listens to the prayers that are sung by the Goswamis, by those who are surrendered souls. So that is why we always try to pray to Srila Prabhupada. First we go to Srila Prabhupada so that our prayers can be heard. He can take the prayers ahead. So we are very fortunate that we are under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada. Yesterday, Prabhuji was asking me to narrate some stories from as I have already was speaking from the similarities for so many days, so he asked me that I should tell some stories even. So there's a beautiful story I just narrated you of Sanatana Goswami. There's the story of the 9th Sikh Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. So when he was appointed the Guru, it was not declared Guru Harkishan Sahib was in Delhi, and while he was giving up the body that he had, he just said, they were always appointing the next Guru. So he just said the Bakala, he just said that. That means the town Bakala. He just said about it. And then he was actually, without appointing the ninth Guru, he left. So now who would be the ninth Guru? Everybody was thinking. And they were praying to the Lord, who would be the ninth Guru? Just reveal it. So there was another trader, like I told you the story of Sanatan Goswami, how a trader was there and how his boat God actually was, with the help of praying to the deities, he could get off, his boat could actually come out, that was stuck, could be excavated out of that mud where it was stuck. So here, same thing happened. Again, a merchant, his boat got stuck, and he prayed to the gurus. He said, if my boat actually it is released from these waters, I will offer 500 gold coins to the guru. And now his boat really got out of the waters. And he had to now pay the 500 gold coins. So he went to the town of Bakala, and he is looking for the guru. And so many gurus have erupted now. There are so many gurus in every room, every house. There was one proclaiming to be the guru. The true guru never proclaims like that. A true guru is actually totally surrendered. He's totally he's absorbed it says he's totally absorbed in Krishna. He's totally absorbed in the Supreme Lord. So Guru Tegh Bahadur was totally absorbed. He was in meditation. And this man, as he was going to other gurus, what he decided, he would place one gold coin to every guru whom he visited. So he kept on just putting one gold coin. And when he came to Guru Tegh Bahadur, the ninth Sikh Guru proclaimed, he went there, as same way he kept one gold coin there. Guru Tegh Bahadur opened his eyes, half opened his eyes, and he said, where are the rest 499 coins? You haven't kept them here. And then he immediately said, yes, Guru Labhyode. And he said, I found the Guru. And likewise, Guru Tegh Bahadur was proclaimed as the ninth Sikh Guru. So this is such a beautiful story. I find it so correlated that how an exalted devotee actually, only his prayers are actually accepted, and he knows, who is a true Guru actually knows this. And that is how it is. Sanatan Goswami, Rup Goswami, they served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so well that their services were actually acknowledged by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He would embrace them. They were his pure devotees. The 6 Goswamis on our altar, we always pray to them. And you would be very surprised to know there is Satyaraja Das. He wrote an essay on Guru Nanak Dev Ji. He wrote that essay. He's an American and he does the study on the Vedic culture. So he wrote an essay where there are 9 essays he wrote, and one essay is on Guru Nanak Dev Ji. He writes about it. He says Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to Jagannath Puri, and when he went to Jagannath Puri, he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there. Both of them were there, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji was with his disciple Mardana, and he's called Saranga. So because he used to play a musical instrument called Sarangi. So Mardana was with him. And then when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put his personal servant in his service, in Guru Nanak Dev Ji's service. They both were together. Jadai Madhai were there, Rup Sanatan were there, Saranga was there, Nityanand Prabhu was there, and they all chanted the Harinaam. This was actually declared by even the Sikh historians. They said, yes, it is very true that Guru Nanak Dev Ji visited Jagannath Puri and he met Lord Chaitanya there. So this is such a beautiful that we have so many things in common, that we actually are grateful to the Supreme Lord that He's given us the path, the right path that has been shown by the spiritual masters. So that is why the Guru word is very important in our life. Guru is actually, it has been declared in the Granth Sahib, it has been declared in the Bhagavatam, it has been declared everywhere in all the scriptures, the importance of the Guru. That why The Guru is so important in our lives. It says that, and even it says in the Mahalla 5, Ramkali Mahalla 5, it says, Bij mantar Hari Kirtan gao, agge mile nithave thao, Guru pure ki chadne lag, janam janam ka soya jag. Hari Hari, jap japla, Guru Krpa te hirde vase, paujal par parla. So it says the Hari's Kirtan, the glorification of the Supreme Lord Hari, is the seed mantra. So we all know that who gives us the Brahmand Brahmite Bhagavan? It says, who knows this verse? Everybody knows. Yes, Mataji, you speak out.
ब्रह्मांड ब्रह्मिते कौन भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृष्ण प्रसादे पाय भक्ति लता बीज.
So this is Brahmand Brahmite Kaun Bhagyavan Jeev. So it is clearly that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that out of millions, those who wander on the whole universe, very few are fortunate to get an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master. It's a bona fide guru who can give you the seed of bhakti, who can actually place the seed of bhakti in your heart. So it says, by the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of creeper of devotional service. So that bhakti lata beej, that seed that is sown by the spiritual master in your heart, in the heart of a very fortunate soul. So that seed is gonna become a creeper, and it is going where the creeper actually takes the help and goes upwards. So this creeper is going to actually go into the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So from where does that creeper grow? From the seed. And who gives the seed? The Guru. It clearly says, Brahmand Brahmate Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beej. So Prasad always means Krpa, mercy. Without mercy, nothing can happen. Mercy is very much required. So mercy of the spiritual, bona fide spiritual master actually leads us to this devotional service that's gonna be a creeper. And we have to guard this. How do we guard this? We guard it because when we go to a lawn, you see a lot of weeds come up. So a lot of anarthas come up in us. In simple Hindi language, we say Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Isha, Matsarya, Mad, Matsarya. So that's lust, anger, greed, enviousness. Everything comes up. We have all these anarthas in us. They are actually in our heart. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Chaito Darpanam Marjanam Bhavma Davagni Nirvapanam. So wipe off your chit, your heart. How do you wipe off your heart? Sing the glories of the Lord. Chant the holy name. Chant the name of the Supreme Lord. That's what Guru Nanak Dev Ji said when he said the Japji Sahib. The first part of the Granth Sahib, Japji. One has to chant. Without chanting, nothing will happen. Moot paliti kapade de sabun laiya dhe bariye mat papa ke sang vodope name kevan. So you have a dirty heart. You have a dirty body. So dirty body or dirty clothes can be, soiled clothes can be washed with soap and water. What about your heart? How are you gonna cleanse it? So you can only wash it with the name of the Hari. That's all. There is nothing else you can do. So that is why Chaito Darpana Marjanam is so important, so that we cleanse our heart. Because this bhakti seed is going to be sown there. There is no other place for the seed of bhakti to come. It will be sown in the heart. So it's very important that we actually surrender to a bona fide spiritual master who's coming from a lineage that comes from the Supreme Lord. So that is very important, where we surrender, whom to listen, whom to actually serve. That's very important in our life. We should be serving those who are actually surrendered to the Supreme Lord. Truly surrendered, sincerely surrendered to the Supreme Lord in His services. So here even the Bij mantra in the Gurbani says, Bij mantra Hari Kirtan Gam. So that is the Bij mantra. Bij mantra is sing the glories of Hari, sing the glories of the Supreme Lord. That is the Bij mantra. The Bij sown by the spiritual master. How does it actually get all the nutritions? How does it grow? It grows when you chant the holy name with full sincerity, and then all the anarthas are going away from you. They leave you. You don't have to shed away anything. everything leaves you on itself. May it be lust, anger, greed, they will leave you. You don't have to endeavor, oh, I have to now take care of my anger, now I have to leave the lust, now I have to leave this, that. No. Everything will leave you on their own. They will just go away. Because Krishna is deciding it for you now. Because you are chanting. So Guru and Krishna, they decided for you that you get a clean heart. You get a heart where the creeper may grow now. So that is very important, that we listen to the glories of the Supreme Lord and sing the mantra with full sincerity. Because it is the source of transcendental knowledge. It is the source of transcendental bliss. We are all looking. Other day I was giving the class and I was telling everybody wants, if you ask anybody in this world what they want, nobody will say I want God. Everybody says I want some peace and some happiness. May I live anywhere in the world. Because I travel everywhere and I know. Whether I ask somebody in New York or in Tokyo or in Vancouver, the answer is the same. And it's the same here as well in Canberra. It's no different. Everybody is looking for peace and happiness. Nobody says Krishna. It's only if you're a devotee, if you've been devotee practicing Krishna consciousness for a few years, then the answer would be Krishna. But otherwise, in simple language, is peace and happiness. Nobody wants God, everybody wants peace and happiness. And Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Nastir buddhi yuktasya, nacha yuktasya bhavana, nacha vada shantira, shantasya kuta sukham. Without shanti, there is kuta sukham. Shantasya kuta sukham. Without shanti, there is no happiness. Sukh is happiness. So if you don't have peace, how can you be happy? First the peace comes and happiness comes along with it. So how to be peaceful? Peaceful is when you have won your mind, you have controlled, you have conquered your mind. Man jeete jag jeet. The Navamela shloka says clearly. So man jeete jag jeet. So those who have conquered their mind, they have won the world. And they are at peace. So unless you have controlled your mind, that's what Arjuna asked Krishna. Krishna mana chanchala. How to control the mind? How to actually keep the mind under my control? Because mind controls us. When you can see it, it's a very simple example. It's a very simple exercise. You came here because maybe some obligation, maybe some invitation you have, but very few will be who have physically come here with their minds also here. Some must be sitting here, but their minds are miles away. Their mind is in some other, it's absorbed in some other thing. But very few will be those who are sitting here physically, along with them mentally, mind also being here with them. So mind is very difficult to control. But Krishna tells Arjuna it's not impossible. It's difficult though. It's very difficult. But it's not impossible. So then Arjuna asks him, how to do it, Krishna? So he says, there are two things with that you can do it. He says, take the kuthar, the axe of detachment, and have the knowledge. Take the knowledge. So the knowledge, it doesn't mean the knowledge in the colleges and the universities that I was telling you. The knowledge is in the scriptures. When you take this knowledge is going to help us. This knowledge will help us to actually break all the attachments. So that is the detachment. Today I was reading the beautiful quote by my Guru Maharaj where he said, the detachment, how it comes. What is the detachment? When you really want to do a thing and you do it out of your comfort zone, you come out and do it. And when sense gratification is offered to you in a plate and voluntarily you say you don't need it, you won't take it. When sense gratification is offered to you in a plate and voluntarily you said no to it, that is detachment. When somebody is offering you, either come out and go to a movie or a mall with me or to a pub with me and you decide, no, I don't want to go there and I voluntarily want to attend the satsang, I want to be in the association of devotees, that is detachment. Every time when you have to make a decision and you make such a decision and say voluntarily no to sense gratification, then you are detached. Detachment doesn't mean you have to go to a forest and be there. Simply detachment is when you say voluntarily no to sense gratification. It should be voluntarily. Sometimes people ask, why did Krishna do so? Like, why didn't he make it so simple for us? He wants us to come back, so let's go to him. Why did he make Maya? Why did he make so many things? And then he says, now you come to me, and you just ignore everything. And it's so difficult for us. First we have so much of, so much of glamour, so much of, we can actually enjoy opulence we have. And now first he gives the opulence and he says, don't enjoy this opulence. So that is how it is. Sometimes people think, oh, if we become a devotee, we will become like Sudama. Because Sudama is a Brahmin, and if we become a devotee, we become a Brahmin, and we become... So Brahmin is not by birth. It's again and again said in the Granth Sahib, it's said, I've quoted in the book as well, where it's said in the Granth Sahib, and where in the Gita also Krishna says, Guna Karma Vibhagasya. He says, Guna Karma Vibhagasya. Your karmas will decide you are a Brahmin or not. Just being born in a Brahmin family doesn't make you a Brahmin. So your qualities, your karmas should be of a Brahmana. So here it's clearly there at how do we actually surrender to Krishna. That is with the help of the spiritual master. That is how important it is to surrender. So Krishna says that how you control the mind with detachment. And as I said, detachment, where Guru Maharaj is giving this quote, that how? With the sense gratification offered to you and voluntarily you say no. So bhakti is done voluntarily. You see, we always do, when we say Hare Krishna Mahamantra, what we do, what exercise we do, it's usually we lift our hands and say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we say that way. So we are actually surrendering. That's right, our hands are up. But that's a voluntary surrender. When a policeman comes in, he points a gun and says, surrender, and put your weapon down and put your hands up. So that is the surrender by force we have to do. So Krishna doesn't put any force on us. He wants us to come voluntarily. Because unless we go voluntarily back to him, we will not be happy. Voluntarily means you are happy to go back. That is voluntarily means. Otherwise, if you ask somebody that please go back, we have to go back to Krishna, and they really don't want to go back, so then they think, oh, you're forcing something upon them. So that is why Krishna said, we never, Ashradhalu, we say, I don't know, we always read the 10 Nama Purans in Hindi, so I am very fluent with that. Ashradhalu ko Krishna naam ki mahima ka upadesh nahi dena. Not to a faithless person, we speak of the glories of Krishna. We may give the name, but we don't give the glories of Krishna to him. So that is how it is, that a person who is faithless will not understand what your feelings are. So he will not surrender voluntarily. A voluntary surrender comes when you have faith in your spiritual master. You have faith in your guru. So the faith actually works. There is a story of Guru Harkishan Sahib, again, the ninth, that's the 7th Sikh Guru. When he was asked by Jahangir to be brought to Delhi, Jahangir was very envious of him. Because he became a Guru at the age of 5. At the age of 5, he became a Guru. And he was asked forcefully to be brought to Delhi because Jahangir was Mughal emperor was very envious. He said, how can such a big congregation follow a 5-year-old child? So he wanted to take a test of him. He said he should be brought to Delhi. And Guru Harkishan Sahib was coming to Delhi with a group of his followers. On the way to Delhi, near Ambala, he stayed in a village. And he had to spend a night there. So when he entered the village, his name was Hari Krishna. So there was a Pandit there, a Brahmin who was very envious. And he said, he was very envious and he came over to him and he said, your name is Hari Krishna. It's Hari Krishna Sahib he called. So he says, your name is Hari Krishna. Do you know the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita? You have been named such, but you're aware of the Gita shlokas? And he smiled. Guru smiled. And he said, in the evening when the whole village is there, bring the most foolish person in your village to me. So it says, uneducated, illiterate, and a most foolish person who didn't know even to write or read, or he was not a good orator, nothing. A very, very simple and a very, it is said a Muda, he was brought. And when he came, Guru Harkishan Sahib had a small stick with him. He always carried a stick with him. So Abhiram Prabhu, have you heard of in the Chaitanya Charitamrita? Abhiram Prabhu would actually whip a person and he would become Krishna conscious. So Guru Harkishan Sahib had a small stick with him. That Muda Vikti, when he was brought there, that person, he touched him with his stick. And that person started speaking the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita fluently. So that is how everybody bowed down to Guru Harkishan Sahib. He said, if a guru only can make a fool sing the glories of the Supreme Lord, if he can make others sing, so he knows everything in the world. That's what he did. So that is how I really, there is a Gurdwara in Delhi, that's Bangla Sahib Gurdwara, that has been where he actually was brought in Delhi, and that was a bungalow of a Hindu minister of Jahangir. There he stayed. And then at that time in Delhi, there was smallpox. Smallpox was actually, it was killing many people. People were dying, children were dying with smallpox. So Guru Harkishan Sahib was actually seated there, so many people from different faiths came to him because their children were dying, their families were actually wiped out, like we experienced during Corona times. So many came to him, they were all suffering, and they prayed to the Guru. They said, please bless us. Please, our families are suffering right now. Have mercy. And then Guru, it says that where he was staying, there he touched his stick and there a spring came out. And that water, everybody who drank, they became well. But the Guru actually passed away with the same smallpox. He took that on him and he left this world. So he was just 7 when he left the world. At the 5 he became a Guru, and 7 he left it. So then it is actually the mercy of the spiritual master. He takes up, again we learn a lesson, he takes up the karmas of others. That's the spiritual master. When we get the initiation, when we take the Diksha, it is said, the Guru takes your karmas. And if you are sincere all the time, then only you are blessed. Doesn't think that, oh, now he's taken our karmas, now we have a fresh life to make, fresh account we have, we can do the sins and have a fresh account. No. We should be very particular that now we have taken Diksha, so we have taken the name. So when we have taken the name, that means we have to chant more sincerely, not like the early days now. So these are small stories. Many people were asking me, I keep on giving the stories wherever I go. I've got a lot of Sakhis, we call it, from the Granth Sahib. The Sakhis, they're actually not in the Granth Sahib, there are different books written as Sakhis. So I go through them. Since childhood I've been listening from my grandmother, from my, all my elderlies. So I used to listen to these, and I was really fascinated with these stories. And when I met my Guru Maharaj, it was again something like that. And I would talk to him, and Gopal Krishna Maharaj was double MBA. I don't know how many of you know it. He was double MBA. He did his first MBA from Sabah University. He passed out Delhi in college from Delhi. Delhi University did his graduation. And he was the son of a naval officer, British naval officer. His father, and he was from undivided Pakistan, his father was, and Guru Maharaj told that when he came here in Delhi, he was staying in a Jor, that was in, he stayed at this, the place is called, I'm just forgetting the name, it is near it's a very place where it's a very posh area. A very posh area where very multi-millionaires live there. So he had a house there, and he had 2 sisters, and he was the only son. And he wanted to do MBA in those years, 1965. He did his first MBA from Sorbonne University, Paris. He came there to study in 65. Then in 68, he went to Montreal to continue with his second MBA, McGill University, Montreal. He did his second MBA, and he was employed in 1968 in Atlanta in Pepsi Company as an executive. And he was earning 1 lakh rupees per month in 1968. That's nearly 1 CR this of INR, Indian rupees. It is 1 CR. I don't know in dollars how it will be, but it's a very huge amount. So he was earning that, and then he met Srila Prabhupada in Montreal. First service he got. He came to know that he told in his autobiography that he was actually in Montreal. He was visiting the temple often, and he used to go there, listen to the kirtan in the evening and pay obeisance to the deities. And one day they said the Srila Prabhupada is coming to Montreal. He had never met Prabhupada. So he said, if there is any service, I can help you all. Everybody was cleaning the temple. And they said, yes, there is a service. We have just got an apartment next house where Srila Prabhupada would be staying. So he said, can I get the service to clean it? And they said, of course, please go ahead. We really were looking for somebody to clean it. And he got the service to clean the apartment where Srila Prabhupada was about to stay. And that is actually, Guru Maharaj says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. That started from there. That is the Gundicha margin we have. So he went there and he cleaned it all, and Prabhupada came. He was taking the association of Prabhupada every day, even accompanying him to places, and he was noticed by Prabhupada. And soon Guru Maharaj asked Prabhupada that he wanted to serve, and then he was getting all the pay packet and giving it to Prabhupada. He never sent it home. He always gave his pay packet to Srila Prabhupada, and took whatever he wanted to spend was given by Prabhupada to him. And then he ultimately said, I want to join full-time. And then he joined full-time. And he was serving the temple. And then he was sent to India as the GBC, and then he took sannyas. After Prabhupada left the planet, he took sannyas. And he became a sannyasi. And just recently we have seen how he left his body. And I met him 25 years back. So this is how actually when we serve, he served his spiritual master, and he trained us all that how we should actually set an example for us. How should we be doing it? So I have beautiful experiences. Me and my husband, we have served ISKCON for last 25 years. And we have seen how Guru Maharaj would give us all the time, how instructions were given, and how happy and pleased he was with when we used to follow the instructions, and how he has trained us all. So I have many things to say about him, but we will go back to the scriptures now. So it says here again, Bij mantra Hari Kirtan Gao, Agge Mile Nithave Tham. Those who sing the glories of Hari, they will get actually a place in the court of the Supreme Lord. They will be given the entry there. That's what Krishna tells Arjuna. Look for a place where you have to go after life. When you finish this life, after the cycle of birth and death, if you want to go out of it, you have to look for a place where you have reached and never come back. And then Krishna says, Tad dhamam paramam mam. And there is no other place except my dham, where I live. If you come there, then you don't have to go back. So that is how it is. Again, nithave mile thao. We don't have a place. We are just wandering. This is not our home. If we are living in Canberra, Delhi or New York, this is not our home. We are just wandering species. We may die tomorrow, and then we will be put in another body. And where we will go, we do not know. Where we will be born, we do not know. We can go to the Niman yonis also. Lower species even we can go. There's no guarantee that after human birth, there is again a human birth. There's no guarantee. So we can go back into the lower species. That's the highest risk we have. And even if we go back to the upper planets also, what's the use of going there as well? Brahma also has a life. All the demigods have a life. So sometimes people think, in Vaishnavism or in basically they take it as Hinduism. So we don't connect ourselves to actually being Hindus even. Vaishnavas this may be surprise others, but there is no word Hindu. It was given by the Arabs. People who lived there, because they couldn't pronounce, the Sindhu word was pronounced as her. The people living across the Sindhu are Hindus, they call it. So that's why Hindustan it came up. So we are actually trying to be Vaishnavas. So the other day I was telling the ninth, Sukhmani said ninth Ashtapadi, clearly Guru Arjan Dev Ji describes the Vaishnavas, who a Vaishnava is. So we did that the other day. So it says here, those who have sung the glories of Hari, so that means we are just wandering human beings, we are wandering species. So we don't have a place to settle down. We are so, we are actually not at ease. That is why we are not at peace. Sometimes people write, when somebody dies, they say, rest in peace. When he did not live in peace, how will he will rest in peace? He never lived in peace. How we expect after death he will rest in peace? He's again wandering. Unless we pray for him, unless he has done his karma, ape bije ape khao, that is what Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, that's what Krishna says. Ape bije ape khao. Whatever you have done, whatever you have reaped, that is only, whatever you have sown, you're gonna reap it. That's it. So it is you only. You are responsible for yourself. No, you cannot blame others. Nobody has to be blamed. It's your karmas. If you even have some failures here, some success here, it's your karma. You're eating your fruits of your own karma. So, but again, because we are wandering jivas, so we will get a place to rest if we do Hari Kirtan now. If we don't do it, we are not going to rest in peace. We will not get rest. Harinaam japantya kach kahe na jamka, kaho nanak mantan vai sukhiya ante hi milai gopal. These two lines are so actually full of knowledge. Har japantya, those who chant the name of Hari. In Gurbani we say not Hari, it's Har. We write Hari but pronounce in Punjabi Har. So Har japantya, those who chant the holy name of Hari, those who chant Hari all the time. What happens to them? Har japantya kach kahe na jamkal. Yamraj will not touch them. Those who chant the name of Hari. Which story comes to our mind when we listen to this line? Ajam. It is there in the Granth Sahib. Keh Narayan Ajam Ludreya. Just by saying once Narayan, Ajam will got liberation. So this is those who chant the name of Hari, Yamdutas will not touch them. That's the Bhagavatam guarantees that. Srila Prabhupada guarantees that. Those who are chanting the name of Hari, Yamdut will not, Yamraj will not come near them. Kaho Nanak Mantan Hoi Sukhiya. So yesterday in the temple I was giving the class about the mind. The subtle body is made up of mind, intelligence and false ego. So Mantan Hoi Sukhiya. Those who are chanting the holy name, those who are chanting Hari's name, then what happens is their mind becomes peaceful. They get liberated from their mind also. From their mind. Because mind is actually, the soul is entrapped in the subtle body. And subtle body is made up of mind, intelligence and false ego. So how do we liberate our soul from mind? We chant the Hari name. So when we chant the Hari's name, the soul gets liberated. So man becomes peaceful. Tan, mantan hoi sukhiya. He gives the guarantee of the, yesterday we were doing the phenomenal and the spiritual knowledge. So phenomenal knowledge, the knowledge of this material world. So this is also helped by chanting the Hari's name. The material world, Krishna takes care. Srivas Pandit, in his Angan, the Kirtan used to go every night. And he never worked. He would not go and work. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I don't know how my kitchen gets refilled all the time. Everything gets refilled. And if 3 days, he says, I watch. If 3 days it doesn't get refilled, I will commit suicide then. But it happens because I'm chanting the glories of Krishna, I don't know how everything is refilled. Because Krishna takes care. It doesn't mean that we leave everything and sit down like Srivas Pandit. We are not so surrendered like him. So it is said that those who chant the glories of Lord, Mantan Hoi Sukhiya, their material needs will be taken care of the Supreme Lord. Your material, whatever you want, because you are serving Krishna. You're serving the Supreme Lord, you're sincere. So Krishna takes care of it. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji says this, Mantan hoi sukhiya. His mind will be at peace, his physical needs he will get. Mantan hoi sukhiya. Sukhiya means happiness will be there in his life. And then Antahe mile Gopal. And there is a bonus also. In the end, you get Gopal, you get Krishna. So you were looking for him and you get him. So this is the simplest way to achieve. That is only Kali Keval Naam Adhara. Satyug Sati Kreta Yug Yagi Dwapar Puja Achar Kali Keval Naam Adhara. These lines are from the concept. There are similar lines in the Brahma Puran, there are similar lines in the Bhagavatam as well. So Satyug Sati. In all the 4 yugas, everybody wants Krishna. Everybody wants to go back to the Supreme Lord. Nobody, that is actually getting out of the cycle of birth and death. Everybody wants to be out of the cycle of birth and death. So in Satyuga, how to go back was Satyug Sati. One has to do a lot of meditations from thousands of years. Then you will say, this is a mythology. How can one do meditation for thousands of years? Because our life was for 1 lakh years. A human being lived for 1 lakh years. And that is why the meditations were 30,000, 40,000 of years. So Satyug Sati, Treta Yug Yagi. In Treta Yug too, if you wanted the Supreme Lord, you wanted to go back to Supreme Lord, you have to perform the yagyas. With pure Brahmins, there should be pure Brahmins, not the havans or the yagyas that happen these days. You needed pure fire. The fire was not lit by any chemicals or any matchbox. It was actually done with the rubbing of 2 woods, particular kind of a wood. So the fire would erupt. So the yagyas were performed to get back to the Supreme Lord. Treta Yug was yagya. Dwapar Yug, puja achar. So a lot of opulent worship of Krishna was done. And the age in Treta Yuga was 10,000 years, and then the age in Dwapar Yuga was 1,000 years. And opulent worship of Krishna was done if you want to go back to Godhead. If you want to go back to the Supreme Lord, you want to go out of the cycle of birth and death, you had to do opulent worship of Krishna, opulent worship of Vishnu. You offer him all the paraphernalia. In today's scenario, if somebody says, if you want to get liberated, come to the temple with at least 10 grams of gold when you come to see Krishna all the time. Nobody will enter the temple. They say, we don't want to go back. So Krishna knew. That's why the Bhagavatam says clearly. In the Bhagavatam, it clearly mentions in Kali Yuga what kind of people would be. They will be hypocrites. They will be less intelligent. Go on speaking till 8:20. And I can see many people going through their watches right now. So it's very important, it's very difficult to actually concentrate. In Kali Yuga, it's very, very difficult to concentrate for more than half an hour. Like 40 minutes is maximum one can concentrate. So there is loss of concentration, there is loss of truthfulness. It's a false life. Everybody is leading hypocrite life. But the devotees who are really sincere, those who are surrendered, they try to be one. They try not to be fake. And Krishna knows that. That's why they are sincere. So in Dwapar Yuga, it was expensive gifts were offered to Vishnu. Opulent worship was done to go back to Godhead. And then in Kali Yuga, Kali Kevala Naam Adhara. Kali Yuga, only one has to chant and he'll be gone, back to Godhead. But the chanting has to be very, 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 very sincere. It cannot be a casual chanting. Chanting is so important. Chanting is the food for the soul. To the body, we give all the food that is being prepared in the kitchen. So we get all the nourishment by that food. If you're feeling weak, you eat some food, something. You feel that, the whole body is energetic now. You don't have to feel your hands separately or legs separately. I'm tired, my leg is tired, so you don't feel the leg separate. You just have to eat. And it goes inside your stomach and the nourishment flows through the whole body. And likewise, the soul also needs its food. So how do you give the soul the food? Where do you cook the food for the soul? the Harinaam, the food is cooked on your jiva, on your tongue. And how do you eat this food? The food made in the kitchen is you ate it through the mouth. How do you eat the Harinam? It's you eat it through your ears. So that is why the sincere chanting is when you listen to your own chanting. When you do the japa, every single word of the mantra, you eat it through your ears. Unless you do so, your chanting is of no use. And where do you digest it? Like the food we eat, we're going to digest it in the stomach. So how do we digest the Harinam? Where do we digest it? It is digested in the heart. And heart becomes pure. You see, when the Harinam goes to the heart, heart becomes pure. Because then every anartha will leave you on its own. By the blessing of the seed sown by the spiritual master there. Seeing your endeavor to chant sincerely. So he sees our endeavor. Krishna sees our effort all the time. Soon we are starting with the Damodar month. So it is, the name Damodar has been glorified in Maru Mahala Pancharam by the 5th Sikh Guru. He gives the different names of Krishna and he talks of Damodar. And Damodar, we are going to celebrate the Damodar month, the Kartik month. It's the most auspicious month given in the Granth Sahib. Because the Kartik month, the end of the Kartik month, the Kartik Purnima will come the last day. That is the birthday of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was born on that day. So that is the most auspicious day. So we see throughout the Kartik is also auspicious. So it is said here that if we chant sincerely, then only Kali Kevala Namadhara. So it is the chanting has to be very, very sincere and pure. Japa has to be very, very pure. That's why we were talking about the Brahma Murta Japa. Amrit Vela, that is called the Amrit Vela in the Gurbani. Amrit Vela sach now badi ai vichar. It says there. So Amrit Vela jo hai, that is the Brahma Murta, the early morning time at 4 o'clock, 4:30 when we chant the holy name. Then what happens is, that is this purest of the time where when this pure name chanted gets the connection immediately to the Supreme Lord. We get connected to the Supreme Lord immediately. The connection actually revives. That is why the Brahmurta is so much glorified. So we should be singing the glories of the Supreme Lord in the early morning times and with purity. It cannot be, we cannot be multitasking in chanting. While chanting, one should not be multitasking. People are driving and chanting, people are eating and chanting, people are listening to the lecture and chanting, people are reading the book and chanting, watching the TV and chanting. There is no chanting. Chanting has to be from your mouth, it is there, from your ears it goes in, and it is in your heart. If you feel at any time that if you haven't listened the word or listened any word when you are doing the mantra, you should immediately do it again. Give a punishment to yourself. That I did not listen it, I'll chant the whole round again now. When you will start giving punishment, you will understand, your mind will understand. You have to tame your mind now. And then the mind understands, oh yes, I've got punished, no, and next time I will be very careful now. So happens like that. So one should be very careful while chanting. Once I was listening to, there is a preacher in Sikhism also, he is no more, and I used to listen to him very often. He once was giving a lecture, a discourse. He said that those who do all the rituals in life and don't do chanting, they say, I've done this worship, I do this, I do that, I'm very much into all the rituals, of this world. I do everything to please the Lord. I do my daily worship very nicely, everything I do, full rituals, everything very nicely. And but doesn't chant. It's like a barat. The bridegroom goes in the barat. That is, the barat is going for the bridegroom. When the people are going for, in Hindus, when they go for a marriage, there is a groom on the, he sits on a horse and the groom goes with a lot of his relatives around dancing and taking him for the marriage procession goes. That's a marriage procession. So it's like a marriage procession without the groom. So you're chanting, you're not chanting, But the marriage procession is going and the groom is missing. So what kind of a marriage procession is this? So you follow all the rituals, you do everything, and you do not chant nicely. So you are doing nothing in this life. So this is how it is. There are many, many more things to say, but I don't know how long I can go. It's already 8:20. I have to take question answers now. Yes. Anybody has any question? Anybody wants to question me? Yes, Mataji.
Thank you for your wonderful class. So my question is basically very simple, but it always confuses me. When we say surrender everything, and today I heard volunteers surrendering, what does everything means?
Everything means everything.
No, so surrender everything, what does that mean?
Surrender means when you want to serve lovingly. That is surrender. When you are surrendered, you want to serve. Like you are surrendered to your family, you are surrendered to your kids. You don't question them anything. If they're coming late at night, you want them to have hot food, you would especially get up and serve them. Your husband, if you love him, you will get up and serve him. You would like him to have the best what you can cook and all. If he loves you, he will get the best of the things for you. He's surrendered to you. So likewise, we are surrendered to our families, we are surrendered to our near and dear ones. But when the question of coming to the Supreme Lord, we say, oh, in our minds we are surrendered. Then no physically we want to show. And if you say, physically if we are showing, so you say, oh, what people will say. I'm still young, or why should I, what people, you feel shy to do it. You feel embarrassed to do it. Why feel embarrassed? Why feel shy? Because you're serving the King of the Kings. He's the Supreme Lord. You're serving Him. So that is how your faith, actually everything works on the faith. How your faith is. How strong you are in your faith. So that's why I was telling yesterday about the Dhruv Maharaj. So Dhruv Maharaj has faith in the words of his mother. His mother said, he said, where to find Krishna? She said, go to the forest, you'll find him. And he trusted his mother and he ran to the forest and he's screaming on top of his voice, Krishna, Krishna, Vishnu. But nobody appeared. But then who appeared? His spiritual master, Naraji appeared. Naraji gave him the mantra because directly nobody can go to Krishna. You need a middleman, and that middleman is the Guru. Like you want to boil milk on the gas, you just cannot pour milk on the gas. You have to put the utensil on the gas to pour the milk in it and then it will boil. So likewise the Guru is that utensil. He's that. He's the middleman for us. Without him we cannot reach. But we have to surrender sincerely. First to the instructions of the spiritual master. A pure, true spiritual master does not seek, he does not give you any instructions to serve him physically or something like that. He only gives you the instruction to serve the Supreme Lord. He gives you the instruction to serve Krishna. So that is how it is. So that is why it says, Har Japanta, it was said by Gurunanak Jivan. So chant the name of Hari. So if you really want to go back. So chant his glories. So if you really want to know otherwise if you want to know how surrender is, it's given in the 11th chapter, 55 verse, if you will go. Mat karma krin mat parmo. There Krishna tells, my dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contamination of fruitative activities. So he gives there a formula. There are 6 things he says to do. He says, first, do a service that is free from fruitative activities. That is free from sakam karma. Sakam karma means where you have your own interest. And then mental speculation. Never be a manmukh. That is what the Gurbani is full of. Never be a manmukh. Gurmukh. It says be a gurmukh. Gurmukh means you look to the face of your guru. You take instructions from the guru. You follow what the instructions are coming from the guru. So never be a mental speculator. Don't make your own, we have everything, we make our own mantras, even people make it. They say, I chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's not for Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is clearly, it says, Hari's name is the most important to chant. So because he is Mukunda, and Mukunda is the one who can give you mukti. Gurbani is so particular, like, Sometimes the people, they get confused, that we are talking about the demigods and all. It's clearly said in the Granth Sahib even, where it says that when Mukti ki bari aayi, it is addressed to Bhavani. They say, Mukti ki bari aayi, tab tu kahan chapani. When it's the turn to liberate us, you go and hide away. Because you cannot give. Only Mukunda can give Mukti. And Mukunda is Krishna, the Mukti Data. So that is how it is. And then it says here, one has not to be Manmukh, he should be Gurmukh. Follow the Guru's instructions. And he who works for me, Krishna says, who works for me, who actually does what I am saying, he is actually practicing that. So these scriptures are actually for to practice. It's just not theory. We read them, but we have to practice them. We read the scriptures like the Granth Sahib. We read it, we practice it. We have to practice them. So he says, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of life, that is surrender. Who makes me the supreme goal of life. And who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. And he has to be friendly to every living being. He's friendly even to he's not the enemy of his enemy even. He's not the enemy of his enemy means a Vaishnava is not, apne shatru ka bhi shatru nahi hai. He's not the enemy of his enemy. That's a big thing. That he actually forgives his enemy also. There's a beautiful story that's coming to mind when I read this, that he's not the enemy of his enemy. That's again from the Granth Sahib. That story comes up. Where there is, when Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the last Sikh Guru, when he was fighting the wars, there was Pai Kanhaiya Lal. Again, the words go, the same names come over. Sometimes they say Kanhaiya, it's Ganaiya, but it's actually. So there is a person who is disciple of the 10th Guru. What he does when the war happens, in the evening when the war stops, he would go around and he would take, it's mashak, and I don't know what you call in English. There is a big thing, a big bag, where the water is filled, and you go around and give water to all those who are thirsty. So by Ganaiya Lal, what he does, every evening when the war would stop, he would take that water, full of water, that bag with him on his shoulders, and when the soldiers would be crying for water, all injured ones, whether they were the Muslims from the other side also, or from his own side, the Sikhs, he would go and give water to all of them. Those who were actually about to die or they were injured so badly, he would go and give water to all of them. And some of the Sikh soldiers, they complained to the 10th Guru. They came to him and they said, we try to kill them in the morning with so much of pain, like so much of energy. We try to kill the enemy. And this, by Ganaiya Lal, he goes there and he actually quenches their thirst. They are about to die, but he gives them water. Why does he do so? So Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, don't worry, I will talk to him. Just send him to me. And he was brought before him and he told others to go away from there. He told all his other disciples, the Sikh soldiers, to go away from the room. And he said, I want to be alone with him. And everybody was expecting that he would be scolded and he would be the service will be taken away from him. Guru Gobind Singh Ji told him that I've heard this complaint about you, that you go around and you give water to the Mughal soldiers as well, the injured Mughal soldiers as well. He said, I'm so helpless, When I go on the field, when I can't see their pain. I'm full of compassion. And when they're crying for water, I feel them because I see, in all of them, I see you. I see my Guru in all of them. So how can I deny water to them? And Guru Gobind Singh Ji embraced him and he said, you are doing the best thing. Next time you take the medicines also with you and do the blessing as well. So you see, this is actually so glorious. This teaches us that how Vaishnava is. He was fighting for a cause, but at the same time he had the compassion for them. He was full of compassion for them. He wanted to liberate them. There are many, many stories more, but I know I can't go on because it will take so many hours. So, but the similar thing I would tell you when I was there, when Tamal Krishna Maharaj's flower samadhi, push samadhi, was being made in Govardhan temple, at ISKCON temple, many years back, 2001-2 it was. I was sitting there and there were the glories being sung. The many pastimes of Srila Prabhupada were being told there. And there was a devotee, Prabhupada disciple. He narrated a beautiful story like this. So I remember I could correlate this again with that. He said that in Paris, when the temple was made, it was a temple, a small temple came up earlier, and there was no devotee kitchen, there was only deity kitchen. So the Prabhupada had taught all the standards of deity worship, that it should be very high standard and nobody should go inside and cook in the deity kitchen for any devotees. So then in one afternoon, there was a guest had to be received. Somebody from a political level or something, I'm forgetting, a very high cadre, or somebody who was very high position, a person of a high position was to come to the temple to meet Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada called his personal servant and ordered him that you should arrange some very nice prasadam for him. And now there was the problem where to go and cook for him. And because the deity kitchen was actually under the pujaris, the keys were with him and he was very strict with it. So Prabhupada said you have to arrange it. Prabhupada just ordered like that. Prabhupada would order often like that. And now he was thinking how to do it. Then he saw a window open of the deity kitchen. He sneaked inside, cooked the prasadam and brought it out. And he fed the guest. Now when the guest was gone, the pujari, when in the evening he came, he could see that something has happened in the kitchen. Everything is not right. He went straight away and he came to know what had happened. He went straight to Srila Prabhupada. He took all other devotees with him, and against that devotee they went to Srila Prabhupada. They said, what is this? He has spoiled the whole kitchen. We make for the deities there and all this has been done and this and that. And then Prabhupada said, and Prabhupada was listening he was listening to them, and then he said, okay, you send that devotee to me. And you rest of all of you go out of the room. And I will talk to him very sternly, Prabhupada is telling. And that devotee was brought before Prabhupada, and everything, the servant of Prabhupada, of course he was. And everybody was sent out, and the door was bolted from inside. And Prabhupada, very slowly, he came to that devotee and he just murmured in his ears. He said, I will be scolding you, but you've done the best thing in the world. We are not fanatics. We have to serve our guest, and you've done the best, but I will be scolding you. And Prabhupada was banging his stick on the floor, the wooden floor, and he would scold him. And then Prabhupada would go to the door and put his ear that everybody outside is listening. No, that everybody was listening inside what is happening. And they were so happy that he's getting a good scolding. But Prabhupada was really embracing him, not scolding him. And he told this whole incident there. So it was so beautiful to know, no? We are, actually at times Guru Maharaj would say, we are not fanatics. We are absolutely not fanatics. He went to the Golden Temple twice with me, myself. And the Gurudwara Bangla Sahib that I'm talking about in Delhi, other day I was researching, a few years back I was doing some research, and I came across a scripture where it is from the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. There was a scripture, it said in 1930s when the Gaudiya temple came up in Delhi, a Gaudiya center was to be opened up in Delhi, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came to Delhi to inaugurate it. And he gave a lecture on Bhakti in the Bangla Sahib Gurudwara. It's written there. So I was so happy to know about it, that it is so beautiful that Bhakti is so important in our life, that the Vaishnava saints and even Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they all had such a beautiful relationship. So that makes our faith strong. This is actually why I'm narrating these stories. My aim is not that you go deep into the scriptures and start reading the Bhagavad Gita, stop reading Bhagavad Gita and go deep into the Granth Sahib. Of course you can do that. But our aim is to practice it. I have written a book where, and I wrote an article even in the International BTG it came. The most fortunate soul, my uncle. I wrote an article on my uncle. He was a Sikh gentleman, of course. My parents, my whole family is Sikh. So I wrote an article about him, that how he actually at the last time, when the last breath, he had the Mahamantra written before him. It was there. So it is that we have to follow We have to follow, actually, we follow anything. We follow Bhagavad Gita, the Granth Sahib. The main thing is the application. And it has to be done with faith. Because we have to go back voluntarily, remember. Nobody can force us or take us like that. Everybody has to have their own journey and everybody has to go voluntarily. I hope I answered your question. Very good. So that's it. Anybody else or we end the session now?
I have just follow-up question.
Yes.
कर्ता का भाव जब तक जाता नहीं समर्पण संभव है.
Krpa, that I'm the doer. That has to go. Then only the samarpan will happen. Then only. If you think you are the doer, it won't happen.
तो वो कैसे हो?
Chanting. We have only one medicine with us. Chanting. Chanting is the only medicine. Japa is the only medicine. Simran sapte ucha udre ko nahi mucha, the Gurmani says. Simran is the topmost. It is the only medicine that will give us everything. It is so powerful, it can give you everything in this world. Because we don't have faith in the spiritual master, we don't have the faith in the gurus, that is why I feel, okay, this cannot happen. This will happen if you are sincerely chanting. That is why Guru Nanak Ji said, Har har japante kach kahi na jamkar. It is so powerful that the Yamdutas cannot touch you. Yamraj will not come near us. There are two sets of people, either Yamadutas or Vishnudutas. So if you want the Yamadutas not to touch you at the time of death, one has to chant. Without chanting, this is not possible. Because then the Yamadutas will come if we do not chant sincerely. So, Har har japante kachakahi na jamkar. The story of Ajamal in the Bhagavatam, in the Granth Sahib, proves in itself that if you chant, you get the liberation, the mukti you are looking for from the cycle of birth and death. So you have to shed off this that I am the doer. We are not the doers. Even in bhakti also we are not the doers. If I am traveling all alone everywhere in the world, I am not the doer. The doer is my spiritual master, the Guru Parampara. That actually gives me the faith and that gives me the push to go around. I do the Bhagavatam distribution. If this year I've done 800 and for the previous 4 years I've done so many Bhagavatam sets. That's what my Guru Maharaj said, that I want you to do the Bhagavatam marathon. The time he said, I want you to do, I knew it would be done. Because he said that and I knew this will happen. But I have full faith in the words of my spiritual master. And it was surprising, all my life I had never done a single Bhagavatam set physically. I had never done this marathon earlier. I had only done the Gita marathon and it was online I was about to do. Because I had preached online during COVID times. So online I did, the first year I did 425 Bhagavatam sets. Second year for 2021 I did 626 Bhagavatam sets. Then I did 525. Last year I did 565. This year 800 Bhagavatam sets. I could not do it. It's only Guru Maharaj. I know he has done it. I have no capability, I know it. I have no capability to write this book even. I told the story the other day. Before I could write the book, he announced that she has written a book. I had not written a single word. So you see, your faith actually, the spiritual master, the faith in his words, that makes the difference. If you have faith in Srila Prabhupada, everything will happen. But you have to chant. You have to be in the association of devotees. You have to serve. You have to be very simple at heart, sincere at heart. If we have a fake life, nothing will happen. You won't be able to even do anything. But if you have trust in your... you will be surprised. First time when I came to Australia, I had gone to see my Guru Maharaj. So when I went to see him, he blessed me. He said, you're going to tour all blessings. So I came here. And at that moment, he was talking to devotees in Pakistan. ISKCON is registered in Pakistan now. So he was talking to the devotees in Pakistan. And they were asking him to come for deity installation. And I was sitting right there and he said, I cannot come, Radhika Krpa will come. I took it as simply a joke, that how can I go? Like, I'm going to Australia and I come back, it was May 2007. And they were asking me to come in the June. So May end, I was supposed to be back in Delhi. But how can I go, like, when I reach India, 2007 June, first week, how will I go to Pakistan? So, and you don't get a visa of Pakistan like that. You walk in and you get a tourist visa, you cannot. It's no visa on arrival, nothing like that. You can never have a visa unless you have some relations there or something is there like you have. But I won't tell you, disclose how I got it. But it was simply that when I went back, my Prabhuji said, the devotees from Pakistan, they are calling again and again and they have full faith in Guru Maharaj's words. They said, Guru Maharaj said you would come, so you should try and go. And then I just tried it. And you wouldn't believe it. It was just, I tried it, I think so. Could we align here also? So I cannot disclose how I got it. So I just tried it. And it was just one go, I got the visa. I just went and when I got the visa, it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And that time there was a direct flight from Delhi to Lahore. And I boarded the flight at 6 o'clock in the evening to Lahore. I was in Pakistan. So you see, if you have faith, if Guru says something is going to happen, it will happen. So much faith, if you have, actually every word of the spiritual master is actually the truth of life. That is there. That's my experience. The experience is all ye yathamam prapadante tastevam bhajamyam. It's all according to the surrender. The level of surrender, the level of reciprocation will come. That's it. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita Yatharup ki jai. He's got a question. Yes. No question? Haribol. So it's Haribol. Everybody got scared if there's a question.
Mataji, can you just for 1 minute, you yesterday in the temple about Richard Gere and Amrish Prabhu, just 1 minute. It's
Again,
so inspiring.
you want me to repeat it again?
Yeah, that's just 1 minute.
Please.
Okay. What did Prabhu say?
No,
Okay.
1 minute.
So Richard Gere came to India and he with Shabana Azmi in around about say in 80s. They opened up a hospital for the AIDS patients. That happened. And then Amrish Das, Alfred Ford. Alfred Ford is actually disciple of Srila Prabhupada. His initiative name is Amrish Das. He's Alfred Ford, grandson of Henry Ford. So he is the owner of all the Ford Motors. We all know that. So he is disciple of Prabhupada. He's a Hare Krishna man. He had given at that time 50 crores to Mayapur temple. So Mayapur temple is the head office for ISKCON. So that was to be, temple is under construction. He's given 380 crores now also when the new temple is being built. So that is a big project of more than 1,000 crores, whereas 380 crores single that person has given. So 50 CR he gave in 1980s and he was grilled by the press in Calcutta. The press asked him that, like Richard Gere, he made a nice he made a nice hospital for the people who are suffering from AIDS. What have you done? You've just given 50 CR for a temple. And that is no service for humanity. Then he said, how does the AIDS come? So AIDS is when you have extramarital affairs. That is the AIDS, the reason for AIDS. And Srila Prabhupada has given us four rules and regulations. And out of these 4, one is no illicit sex. It's one husband, one wife, that vow you take. All over the world, one person should take that vow. Even in the Gurbani, in the Sukhmani Sahib, it's written, Par istri rupna pekhe netra. A Vaishnava is the one who does not see the beauty of other women. Only one woman, his wife only. That's one husband, one wife. So Richard Gere he has built a big hospital for the patients of AIDS. Those are suffering from AIDS. He said, I have given the money where it is invested. It's a Vedic knowledge where when people will visit there, become devotee, they will never have AIDS. So what is better? Precaution is better or the cure is better? Precaution is always better. So the press was all quiet. That such a devotees actually, these temples are not temples. We just don't do deity worship. We give Vedic knowledge. That's why I was encouraged to write this book. In what organization somebody would say, oh, you preach from the Granth Sahib, or you preach even from Quran, we have books where the Vedas in Islam it's been written. So That is the liberty, that is what Srila beauty of ISKCON. That's what Prabhupada gave, that we all should welcome everybody. We should be friendly to all, that's what Krishna is saying. Be friendly to all. So that's what Alfred Ford, he practiced it. He showed to the world that is how ISKCON is, what ISKCON is. So that is why these are the places where when visited, one cannot actually go back into the material world. Once who is sincere and under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, he will not go back into the cycle of birth and death. So he'll be out of Janam and Mrityu. That's it. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai, now we go. Hari Bol.
Thank you so much, Mother.
Thank you.
Very wonderful appreciation.
Thank you so much.
Extremely grateful to Radhika Krpa Mataji ki